Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do long division for polynomials. And also I'll show you synthetic division. Of course, synthetic division is always easier than long division. So if you're not asked specifically to do long division, it's much easier to do synthetic division. Okay. So here is long division. When you're doing long division, you look at the first equation right here, and you see how it's x cubed. And it seems like they skipped the x squared and they went straight to the x. When you do a long division or synthetic division, you have to make up for the x squared. So what you do, you just write plus 0x squared. Okay. Now, the catch when you're dividing a polynomial with a binomial, like this situation right here, and you do a long division, always what you want to do, you want to divide the first part right here by the first part right here. So this is the first part of this. You divide it by this. So you go x cubed divided by x, you're going to get x squared. Okay. Now, when you get the x squared, you know, if it's similar to what we do in elementary school when we did long division, but a lot of students had a hard time with long division. And that's why synthetic division is a lot faster and easier. So what you do once you get this, you go back to this and you say, I'm going to multiply this into here and into there, and then write it right underneath this two terms right here. So you go x squared times x, you get x cubed, and then x squared times -4, you're going to get -4x squared. So after this, what you always want to do, you want to minus what you gotten from the top right here. So you go x cubed minus x cubed. That always goes. The first thing always goes when you're doing this. And then 0 minus negative is going to be plus 4x squared. Okay. Now, usually we divide this by this, but we cannot do this till we bring the -2x down. Why do we have to bring the -2x? Because this is a binomial. There's two terms here. So I always have two terms when I'm dividing. And that's why I bring the -2x, even though when I bring it down, I'm really going back and doing the same thing. When I'm dividing this by this, I only look at the first thing from here, and the first thing from here, I go 4x squared divided by x. That gives me plus 4x. Now I repeat the same thing. I take that 4x, multiply it into the x, and multiply it into the -4 and write it right underneath here. So 4x times x is 4x squared. And 4x times -4x is -16x. I subtract again. So when I subtract, this will cancel. Remember, we're subtracting. And -2 minus -16, that gives me 14x. Now, again, as I said, we have to continue with this. But before I could divide this into here, I have to bring that one underneath. And that gives me plus 1. And now I go 14x. I just take the first thing from here divided by the first thing from here. So 14x divided by x, I get 14. And that's what I write here. And then I multiply this into here and into there. So when I multiply 14 into the x, I get 14x. And when I multiply the 14 into the -4, I'm going to get -56. And now I subtract again. I get, that will cancel, and 1 minus -15 is 57. Okay, now just some terminology here for you. So we call what we got in here, we call it the quotient. And the 57 that we got here, we call it the remainder. And this here, the x -4, we call it the divisor. And this is your polynomial right there. Okay. And that's basically it. With long division. Synthetic division, as I said, it's much easier. So with synthetic division, you remember how I wrote x cubed here plus 0x squared minus 2x plus 1. What I need to write here, I only need to write the coefficients right here in here. So the x cubed had a 1 besides it, so that one goes there, and then the x squared had a 0, so that goes there. And then the x had the -2, and then the constant was 1. I'm dividing by x minus 4. So if you're dividing by x minus 4, you put 4 here instead. Okay. And some teachers, you'll see, they'll show you right -4 there. But the way I show you, it's right +4 there. You always change the sign of this. And what you do, you just bring the 1 down right here. And then you go 1 times 4 gives you 4. That's what you write in here. Now you add 0 plus 4, you get 4. And then you go 4 times 4, you get 16. You add, you're going to get 14. You multiply 14 times 4, you get 56. And you add, you get 57. Now, once you finish, isolate this, because that's going to be, again, your remainder right here, if you remember. All right. Now, this here, when you get this part right here, that is your, when after you divided this, you're going to get this, but this is going to be 1x squared plus 4x and plus 14. So you remember how we had a polynomial that was, the highest degree was x cubed. Of course, if you're going to divide it by something that has an x in it, it's going to go down 1 degree. So instead of x cubed, now whatever you get here is going to be going down by 1 degree. So it's going to be x squared, x, and then the constant. And that's what these numbers are for. So 1x squared plus 4x plus 14. Now compare this to this and tell me which one is easier. And it's your choice. Okay. So I'm going to show you one more thing about factoring polynomials, and we'll end it with that. Okay. So let me just show you. So here's a question that they're asking you: when 2x cubed plus kx squared minus 3x plus 2 is divided by x minus 2, the remainder is 6. Determine the value for k. So the remainder theorem, it says that if you're dividing by x minus 2 and you want to find out what the remainder is, all you need to do, instead of doing syntactic division or long division, all you need to do, just take 2, the opposite of -2, take 2, sub it in for the x's here, and solve. Okay. And that will give you the remainder. However, this question is an indirect. They told you what the remainder is when you divide by x minus 2. That means when you sub in 2 in the x's here, you'll end up, the whole thing will end up equaling 6. And as you see, if we put in 2 and make it equal 6, then the only unknown that we will have is k, and that's how we could solve for k. Okay, so now let's start doing that. So what we'll do, we'll go 2 and then sub in 2 for the x, because that's x minus 2 there, which just sub in the opposite number of -2, 2 times 2 cubed plus k times 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 2, and the remainder they said is 6. Now we have this unknown to solve for. So now just to start doing this a bit quick, 2 cubed is 8 times 2 is 16, plus that's going to give me 4k minus 6 plus 2 equals 6. Now I'm going to just go 16 minus 6 here is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So can I write 4k plus 12 gives me 6. 4k equals 6 minus 12 when you move the 12 to the other side. So that's going to give me -6. And now divide both sides by 4 by 4. And I'm going to get k equals -3/2. So let's just make sure that we did everything correct here. 16, 10, 12, move it to -6, and that's 4k. Yeah, and that's the right answer. Okay, and that's it for that. So I'm gonna cover the whole chapter in the next day or two. I'm just gonna show you how to graph polynomials from factored form. Also, we'll do a little bit more with the remainder theorem and maybe factoring a whole equation using the remainder theorem and syntactic division. I don't recommend long division, so it's syntactic division all the way. If you ask specifically to do long division, go for it, but don't go to synthetic long division unless you have to. Okay. So as always, thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.